Hello, hey, we're working on the 80 series today. We're doing a new shifter knob. So let's walk over here and check out what I got going on. I've already pulled the old one off. Let me show you the steps that is. And then, but first I'll show you what I bought. So I bought a new shifter knob off eBay. Came from some faraway place. I think like Thailand. Here's the part number. It was a lot cheaper on there. Look at that, that's nice. Look at that nice new shifter knob, isn't that beautiful? So I restitched my steering wheel, and you can look at my videos up on that. And I thought a nice, clean shifter would go well with that. So I've already pulled my old one off, and here's the steps on that. Take a screwdriver, run it down in this little hole here, and then you can pull your knob already back and access it easier. You can slide it back even more if you need to. The old knob has 2 screws in the back. You just undo those. And then it slides right up. Now there's a wire that connects your overdrive. So you're gonna have to cut that wire. I've already done that, as you've seen. And you also need to make sure you don't lose your wire down in this little bitty hole where the wire comes out of, which I already did, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to fish that out. So hopefully, if you're doing that, you won't have to bother with that. So I gotta pull the center console off. Did my finger just get in the camera? I think it did. Oh well. Anyways, you gotta pull the center console off. That happens, well, yeah. So I'm gonna have to do it. So I'm pulling these screws off the side here. And then I've already unscrewed this knob. This knob for your transfer case just screws right off. You can see it's threaded, so it just screws right off. So I replaced this thing a few years ago because mine was pretty rough, and so I replaced that, and I already actually had these wires cut, and I forgot. So when I pulled on the shifter knob, I just pulled my connectors apart. So I got to redo that. So that's gonna be fun. So here we go.
Okay, got the
and
center console off. All you gotta do is
slide it right up. It comes out pretty easily. You gotta unconnect this or disconnect this button to your power second switch. So I've got that done, and now I'm gonna have to somehow get underneath this guy and fish my wire back up so I can take my overdrive button back. Okay, so here's my little wire. See the little blue wire right there? That runs up underneath through the shaft there. So that's what's, as you can see it down in that hole. I could try to fish that out. I don't think I'll do any good doing that. So I think I'm gonna pull this center console off. So there's a 12mm here. There's probably 2 more inside my console box. So I'm gonna get that pulled off and see if I can get some more slack, because that wire runs up underneath here. I need to disconnect it so I can. As you can see, there's 2 bolts inside there. Got one here. Pull that guy up. It's the wrong way. Not too bad. Just put it in there. And this thing should lift right up. Pull the bolts out. Grab the screws that I was keeping right here. So put those in my little. I got this little cup holder thing that goes in there. I think I got that off Etsy maybe. So pretty nice little deal. It gives you a better cup holder. And it says it's got the Toyota in Japanese in the center. So I'm using that for my bolts. It's got some pencil holders and a little cell phone holder. And it says 80. Kind of neat. Kind of expensive, but that little product. All right, I'm gonna pull this thing out. I'm gonna have to get on here and disconnect this switch. So
didn't have to disconnect that.
I just screwed the whole console back. Not too bad. Got it's a good time to get your loose change up under the seat that you can never get to, and grab the vacuum cleaner and
Okay, so I did disconnect
that. It gave me a lot more free play. This little blue guy. And check it out. All I had to do is feed this wire back up through. That was a lot easier just disconnecting it. So now let's get to the business of, you've got to pull this little button out of your old shifter, and it just pulls right out. That's your, you know, your button here where you go do like that. That pulls right out. Just get a nice pull. And then we got to pry this guy out, your overdrive button. If I remember correctly, this thing kind of, it's not bad. It's not, don't be scared. But it does kind of, when you pull it out, I think you need to pay attention to how it comes out. If I remember correctly. I've done it before, but it's been a while. So I will try to film that, see how that goes. And probably disconnect this right here. Yeah. So I'm gonna disconnect this guy so I can feed this wire up in here. Actually, you know what? I think I could. This was stuck up underneath the console. I don't even think I need to disconnect it now. This part was just kind of wedged up underneath the console, so I might have could have just gave it a good tug and got it out. But anyways, it was not hard to pull the console off. And again, you can clean it up and get your change out of there and any kind of other relics you find. All right, now let's get working on feeding this wire back through. Okay, here we go. All right, now this thing is a decent piece still. I don't want to booger it up, so I've got my old filler gauge out here, so I'm gonna find a really thin one, and it's all greasy, oily from the last time I adjusted the valves, probably on the 60. Actually, it's probably on the 80. So I'm gonna try to get in here without messing anything. Let me fold some of this stuff up here. That one's a little bigger. Let's get one that's a little cleaner. Let's get one that's thinner. So I can read this. These are all bent. So sorry, this one looks pretty clean and unmolested. All right, so of course this thing is oily, so I'm gonna get in here. Hope the camera's catching this. I'm gonna stick that in there. Try not to booger this thing up. I'm gonna have to pry it out. It's kind of tricky here. I'm working on both sides here and bending my filler gauge, but here we go. There we go, there we go. And it did tear it a little bit getting that out, so. But it isn't, this is an old original shifter. So here we go. Here's the wire, and we'll pull it out. So now that one goes in the new one. And I thought, I don't know, for some reason, I tore this apart one time. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe just curious. So there's the old shifter, and this is not too bad. When you put that back in, it'll probably cover it up. So that's a good shifter knob that can give to somebody. Okay, got all right. Got this all kind of cleaned off. Washed my hands after messing with that filler gauge. So I'm gonna feed this back down. Hope the camera's getting that. So I'm feeding that back through the hole here. And pressing that in. There we go. Still got a little oil from my filler gauge. So this, I don't think I need to put this in yet. This, you got to pull this out. I think you got to pull this out before you can pull this shifter up. I always pull it out and then pull it off. I can't remember if it holds it in there. I don't think so. It just goes into that little red tab on top of your shifter shaft will just go up into that little slot. So it may kind of hold it in there. I always pull it off before, but anyway, that's when we'll go back in here like that. And I'm gonna press it in good once I have, you know what, I might need to stick it back in there, I'm not sure. Let's see how that works. So if you look down in here, yeah, you know what? It doesn't stay on anyways until you, I think what you gotta do is you gotta hold this in. I've done this before, just forget. So you hold it in there, then slide it back down on the shifter shaft. And that's what holds it in. So I believe. Anyways, gotta wire those back up and run that down the tube, and then we got some brand new shifter. Okay, got this thing ready to get wired up. So we're gonna wire these two up, and these wires are not marked, just so you know. These two white wires that you wire this overdrive button to. I can't remember if it matters, but I usually just wire them up and turn the ignition on and make sure it's working properly before I finalize everything. So let's get working on that. Got my wires wired together, and definitely glad I unplugged all this down here so I could pull that wire all the way through. So got that wired. This is a great spot to have some heat shrink and shrink that those wires, a nice sleeve, heat shrinking tape sleeve on that wire, so you definitely don't want that coming loose and have to pull all this apart and rewire it. But anyways, now let's get this back on, and this should be able to slide this on right here. Feed this. Oh, sorry. Finger. Feed this down. Okay, got that on. That was definitely a two-hander job. So you leave this shifter knob just up a little bit before you, and slide this in as your, you don't want to go all the way down. You want to go kind of just go all the way down, then come up just a little bit, and then slide this guy in, and it'll catch. Now we're good here. You can see we got us a good nice shifter. Our overdrive button, I'll double check this. Of course, it's unplugged. Plug this back up. Definitely a great idea to pull the center console up so I can easily access this stuff. So here we go. Let's put that down. Click that back together. Take the ignition key in. Make sure our OD button is working. OD's working right. All right, we're in good business here. So, got some nice new clean shifter. I'm gonna vacuum all this stuff, collect my quarters, clean it up. It's pretty clean, but I got some junk in here. But anyways, we'll clean all that up and button it back up, and that's pretty much the job done. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, please subscribe and ask questions in the comments there, and I will. Okay, I've got everything put back together. Everything cleaned up. As you can see, the new shifter knob there. Looks very nice. Feels good. And we'll note that make sure you remember to hook this guy back up before you hook up your center console, or button it all up, screw all the bolts back in, screws back in. But just wanted to do a final video here of how it turned out, and I got another video on redoing the restitching the steering wheel if you want to go find that. So that's probably probably a 2 banana job. Maybe 1 to 2 banana. It's not too hard. It's you gotta do a little wiring. This is pretty simple wiring, and then just take a couple pieces off the center, a couple bolts out of the center console. Wasn't too bad. So hope you enjoy.